Welcome to Second-Hand Haunting, where we read ghost stories from a second-hand book and try and make sense of them.
Fun of them.
Sense of them.
Fun of them.
And...
Fun? Fun.
Yeah. Hey, Ollie.
Hey, Callum.
Hey, Amber.
Hi, guys.
Surprise, everyone. We've got an extra special guest with us today. This is Amber Patrick from the Peas Inner Network. She has her own show called Please Attend Carefully, where she can explain what she does.
Well, it's a Doctor Who podcast where we talk about the Master, the Doctor's most devilish villain.
Excellent.
Welcome to the show, Amber.
Thank you.
She's also my wife. It's awesome.
Minor details.
Yes. Well, I figure we jump straight on in with a short little story to see how it goes with three in the room today, and just see what happens, eh?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, good.
Cool. Because I found just a tiny little story from True Irish Ghost Stories, because we love this book. It's by John Seymour and Harry Neligan. These guys were doing a bunch of research and realised nobody had put together a collection of what ghost stories were from Ireland. So they put an ad in the newspaper, said, hey, send us your ghost stories. This is the nonsense they got in return. A lady who requests that her name be suppressed relates a strange sight seen by her sister in Galway. The latter's husband was stationed in that town about 17 years ago. So we're talking very much turn of the century.
Sure.
1800s, 1900s. One afternoon he was out, and she was lying on a sofa in the drawing room, when suddenly, from behind a screen, where there was no door, came a little old woman, with a shawl over her head and shoulders, such as the country women used to wear.
I feel like that's a really old woman, kind of like idyllic picture that you have in your mind, like a little country girl with a shawl over the head.
Sounds adorable.
Yeah.
Sounds absolutely innocuous. I don't know if she belongs in this house, though, is the thing.
Ah, that's the ghostly haunting of it all.
Why was the sister lying down in the drawing room?
Getting ready?
Getting ready? Just lying down?
Wait, so the drawing room was the room where you went through to. Shall we go through to the drawing room?
Yeah, so the drawing room would be, say...
Post-dinner conversation for the ladies, right? The men go to the parlour, the women go to the drawing room.
Yeah, you've got that spot on. So imagine there's three rooms in sequence. There's the entertaining room, the drawing room, and then the bedrooms. So after you've had your formal dinner, you withdraw to the drawing room before everyone then goes to bed.
I'm not sure if we covered this before. Is this like a stately manor or a castle?
This one doesn't say, but if they have a drawing room, it's at least an estate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you have a theory of your own?
I'm just wondering why she's lying down in there. I think she's asleep.
In the drawing room?
Oh, it's a dream.
Well, she's lying down somewhere.
Okay.
Because, I guess it wouldn't be proper at the age of the woman lying down. No?
We
just
don't
a
know.
lady, yeah.
It's a lady.
Yes, it would seem odd for someone like that who owns a drawing room to then lay on the floor. It wouldn't be the done thing.
Oh, no, she's lying on the sofa at least.
Oh, no, that's fine.
You know
then.
what? Let's give her benefit of the doubt. The chaise longue.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like sometimes when I've had an incredibly bad day, sometimes I just want to lay down on the ground and just be still.
Do you then see little old ladies in shawls?
No. That's certainly unique to this individual story.
What about if the old lady had a most diabolical expression on her face? She seized the lady by the hand and said, I will drag you down to hell where I am.
I mean, she might mean emotionally, or
Wait.
maybe not physical hell, but just like an emotional hell, you know.
This is like religious servant who's just seen a girl passed out on a sofa and is like not having it.
It's Sunday, how dare you lie down?
Well, ladies don't do that kind of thing.
They shouldn't, that's for sure, no. The lady sprang up in terror and shook her off, when the horrible creature again disappeared behind the screen. The house was an old one, and many stories were rife amongst the people about it. The one most to the point being that the apparition of an old woman who was supposed to have poisoned someone used to be seen therein.
Do you know, it's funny because like when we started this story, I was thinking about a fairy tale, Sleeping Beauty, and I don't know, like the old woman in the shawl reminded me of that, the old woman that like delivers the basket of apples.
Snow White.
Yeah, Snow White.
Oh, okay.
I said Sleeping Beauty, didn't I?
Yeah.
I meant Snow White.
For some reason, I was thinking Princess and the Pea. Like, no matter
guys.
how many sofas she slept on, she could still feel the old lady
Good
underneath.
thing I'm here.
So now I'm like ready because now she actually was someone that, you know, had a poison apple as well as being an old lady in a shawl. So
Yeah.
parallels.
Love that. Like, I saw this old lady. Yeah, that's just the ghost of the old woman that tried to poison someone.
She might drag you to hell. Try to ignore her.
We've all seen her.
Now, I'm curious if any of you guys have seen the film Drag Me to Hell.
No.
Oh, dang. Okay, well, this is almost exactly what happens in the
Oh,
film
right.
Drag Me to Hell.
Do you think they took it from the book?
Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
from the story?
Yeah, I hope so.
It certainly sounds like it'd be older than the movie.
Yeah, about 100 years. Okay, so this old lady, she saw the film, time travelled back to Ireland in the early 1900s and wrote a story about her sister.
Well, you know, they say that the guy that made The Simpsons, they always accused him of being a time traveler.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like
The amount of jokes that they preempted or world events.
Yeah, there's like scenes that have actually played out in real life that first appeared in The Simpsons.
Gotcha. All right. Well, if you haven't heard it before, you heard it here, folks. Matt Groening, time traveller.
Trust me, it's already been theorized.
Needless to say, the lady in question never again sat by herself in the drawing room. The end.
Oh, that was short.
It was short.
Yeah.
It was meant to be. See how this works with three people.
Probably a good idea to not sit in that drawing room again. I wouldn't.
Yeah, you just doze
Or
off.
I'd get rid of that screen that she's hiding behind.
Yeah, good point.
Just give her no areas to skulk in.
I was like thinking about like what the screen would be. in
Dressing
that
screen.
room. But it's like, is the drawing room somewhere where you dress?
But it'd probably have decorative panels
Right.
on it that are like painted by someone or, you know.
Good point. Her husband was stationed in the town 17 years ago. So that tells me that he's probably a military man.
Yeah.
Who's probably travelled. If it's this time, he's probably travelled to the Orient, Asia, as
Yep.
they used to call it back then. So it probably is some very decorative screen. You're right.
I'd just move that to another room where she can't, be behind.
Burn it.
In some sort of ritual ceremony, burning it.
Or just immediately in a fit.
Right.
No rhyme, no reason, just get rid of it. Gone, out.
Now, I know that you love your True Irish ghost stories,
I do.
but I decided, since I was going to be on this podcast, to go to our local library and see what I could find on the shelves there.
That's my wife. She has prepared.
I have, as I always do.
Oh, I'm going to put this down then. What have you got there?
All right, so I found two books. The first one is Haunted Hotels in America by Robin Mead.
Ooh, we haven't done any in America yet. Although, haunted hotels, that's sounding dangerously close to haunted inns, which I think we've discovered is mostly a travelogue, right? And then 2 sentences at the end is a ghost.
I think that had to do with the book, not specifically ghost stories in hotels or inns.
Do you think this one's going to be very different, though?
I mean, judging from the cover of the books that I've seen, yes, I think it is going to be different. It looks much, much different.
Okay. All right, let's not judge too harshly, because what's the other book you've got there?
I'm glad you asked. It's Haunted Bridges.
What was the tagline again? I love that. I can't remember it though.
Jeff can't catch a break.
It's Haunted Bridges, over 300 of America's creepiest crossings.
300?
Yeah.
Hang on. How many pages are in that book?
Let me have a look. There are 274.
Okay. Every single story. Even shorter than what I've just read.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
It's by Rich Newman, and he was the author of the Ghost Hunter's Field Guide. So
okay.
This book is a bit more modern, I guess, than what you guys normally read, but it's also more of a guide to, if you wanted to go find some creepy places, here's some bridges you could go look at and what ghost you'll find there.
All right. I'm digging it. Should we try one from there? A nice little short one just to see the quality of this particular book, knowing we've got this backup in case.
Sounds really good. And I was just thinking to myself, like, how when we started doing these stories, I really thought of ghost stories as these, like, bigger things that happened. All ghost stories were these kind of like dramatic occurrences. I don't think I can explain that very well, but we'll have some books where, you know, you have like a floating head in a hallway or a woman dragging you down to hell. And then we'll have some books where it's like, we heard like a cloppy noise in another room.
Just the mundane hauntings.
Yeah.
We heard some sobbing next door. Or just the glass fell off the bench. Oh, really? In a 600-year-old building? How straight is that bench, guys? Anyway, America is at least newer, right? You would hope that their structures are slightly more put together.
Yeah.
Like, judging from the title and like the look of the book, I feel like it's going to be a bit more dramatic, but time will tell.
So I read through the book and I picked out some of my favorites. There's a lot of Civil War ghosts in this book, I'll point out.
Oh, of course there are.
But this one I think is a good one to start with. I think you'll enjoy it. It's Mather's Bridge in Merritt Island, Florida.
Oh, yes. Florida, please.
Residential hauntings are quite interesting things. Sometimes the ghostly energy appears at haunted sites as horses or wagons.
Oh, God damn it. No, I am not down for ghostly hoofs again.
Don't
We've
worry.
had enough of those.
Oh, don't worry, we're building up to it.
Too many ghostly hoofs.
Sometimes it's an entire army marching off to battle. In the case of Mather's Bridge, this energy manifests as the sound of hippies having a good time.
Yes, yes, yes.
Woo.
Sorry, I'm not being the hippie there, just for reference. I am excited.
How would you have been a hippie? Like,
Yeah, I don't know how either of us would have thought you were being a hippie there.
It doesn't matter.
I shouldn't have pointed it out. Sorry.
No.
My bad.
I'm sure we're going to find out, but do we want to take a guess about what excited hippies sound like? Hey, man, that's real cool of you.
Yeah, I see something along those sort of lines, like...
Yeah.
That's better, yeah, I guess.
Oh, that's a beatnik, though, isn't it?
That's more beatniky.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome, man.
Cool. Yeah, we got it. All right. So
that's the best I got.
The bar being sufficiently lowered, feel free to continue.
Don't worry, I'm used to a co-host that likes to do a lot of impressions of things.
The doctor's body.
It's a deep cut reference for our show.
Yep.
All right. This bridge was at the location of a famous restaurant and bar known as the Mather's Bridge Restaurant until it was torn down in 1992.
Wait, is the restaurant on the bridge?
It's not clear.
Okay.
Mather's Bridge Restaurant was a popular hangout for people who were into the outdoors, those who believed in environmental protection and conservation, and, well, just hippies in general.
Is that your words or the books?
The books.
Fantastic. All right, I agree. Rich, was it?
Yeah.
Rich Newman? Good man. Continue.
As you walked through the house, you could smell just this slight scent of marijuana.
Through the bridge, Ollie.
Oh, through the bridge. My bad. It's bridges.
This place was so well known for extravagant good times that there were frequent complaints of noise from the locals. I really don't know what the geography of this area is, that there's a bridge, a restaurant, and residential.
No, but it sounds like North Adelaide, doesn't it?
Maybe.
Deep cuts for anyone from Adelaide here.
The only evidence of the place is a nearby headless statue known as the Watcher.
Who has a headless statue?
And calls it the Watcher. May as well call it the listener and the speaker too.
Being from a Doctor Who podcast, I can't help but think of the generation between Tom Baker and Peter Davison. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, God. And I'm not even going to get into Marvel.
Don't worry, we're going to get into who made the statue, Ollie. It was a pagan/Wiccan artist named Kevin Tipton.
Well, obviously there was going to be ghosts in their future.
Of all the names I was prepared for, Kevin was not it.
The Wiccan, Kevin. Famously, many Wiccans called Kevin. Apologies to any Kevins listening.
Or Wiccans.
They don't use technology. I'm sorry.
He loved the restaurant and... produced the sculpture and is said to have placed it by the waters to guard the manatees.
All right. Oh, there's a lot going on here, guys. Okay, I've just had to remember Florida. They do have manatees that hang around their shores and their rivers. Okay, fair. I never pictured a Wiccan not just eating at a restaurant, but frequenting it.
Again, apologies all the Wiccans out there.
Well, this was the place known for where the environmental protection and conservation people hung out. I don't know how word spreads, but, you know.
Is it a veggie restaurant? We're never going to find out, are we?
Maybe it was a Wiccan hotspot, you know? Like, it's where the Wiccans got down.
I'm sure it is where they got down.
Got down to some serious
hauntings.
Wiccans casting business, you know. That's what they do, right? There's some spells in there. Incantations.
I think now you need to apologise. I think they're just generally like chill, cool people who...
I believe there's home spellcraft done. Burning things and yeah.
Cool.
As for the spirits at this bridge, they are presumed to be those who made merry in days past. People have claimed to have seen apparitions and heard voices throughout the area, but perhaps the biggest evidence of all that the place is haunted by hippies is the ghostly sounds of music that drift along the Banana River at night.
I just want to hang out there. I just want to spend the night. Set up a camping tent and just breathe in the atmosphere.
What was it? Was it Banana River?
Who calls a river banana? Because was it bent? Did they transport bananas? None of this is to the point. But
would it help if I told you that's the end of the story?
Oh no.
Yeah, it probably would, to be honest.
Yeah.
Less said, the better.
Okay, all right.
We heard the clippy-cloppy sounds from the other room. It sounds like a honestly fun spot to hang out if you just like hear the tunes, admittedly from other campers probably.
Yeah, like I don't know this place. It sounds like the restaurant is no longer there.
No, it was knocked down 1992.
Which is a real shame.
To the Wiccan community.
To the world.
The statue might still be there.
Ooh. Yeah, it did say that was the only evidence left, right? It's a headless statue.
Watching over the manatees with its missing eyes.
As the manatees frolic in the Banana River.
That's a lot of frivolity, that story.
Yeah, this is way more upbeat than what we normally have. Are the rest similarly...
I've tried to pick out ones that are...
Okay, all right.
Different in tone.
I'm so ready for another one from this bridge book.
Shall we head over to Georgia, to the Lickskillet Railroad Bridge?
Well, the podcast went down to Georgia. Oh, listeners, you did not see the look Amber just gave me.
Don't bother looking on a map for the bridge in central Georgia. It won't be listed.
Okay, so this is fake.
Well, actually, why you ask? Because it's part of the Six Flags amusement park.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is... Okay. Oh, man, we are in for some Scooby-Doo shit now. Haunted amusement park? Gimme.
Is Six Flags is like a hotel chain in America, isn't it?
It's an amusement park chain.
Okay, amusement park chain, okay. So big they need a chain of amusement parks.
Yeah.
We don't even have the one.
Yeah, it's Six Flags over Texas, which represents the 6 sovereign powers that have claimed ownership to Texas over the centuries. And apparently the park was so good, they just made a whole bunch of them all across America.
There you go.
Name doesn't mean much anymore, though.
I was just trying to think about like what we had close to as an amusement park in Adelaide. And I was going to say maybe like Holy Moly mini golf. Oh, no, we've got that thing at like Glenelg. Is that?
The beach house.
The beach
It
house.
used to be Magic Mountain.
Okay.
We used to have Dazzle Land.
At least none of them flew the Confederate flag over their theme park. So,
Is that what the Six Flags do?
that's one of the flags, my man.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. You know what? I think I heard that once before.
Yeah, let's try and whitewash that one a bit. They should have just made it a white flag.
Ha, 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 ha.
All right. Known as one of the most haunted places of its kind in America, it comes as no surprise that Lickskillet section of the park would have a ghost stationed along with the train trestle there.
Oh, it's a train bridge.
Yes, most of the bridges in this book are actually train bridges.
I guess I'm okay with that. Sure, all right.
Okay. According to
Oh,
witnesses...
wait. No, this is like a tiny little theme park train, right?
Yeah, it
like a
is.
little choo-choo thing that we got down at Semaphore?
I think so.
Oh, brilliant. No, I'm back on board.
According to witnesses of said spirits, the apparitions appear to be dressed in American Civil War era attire.
Told you.
This is the Scooby-Doo ghost story I've been waiting for my whole life.
Yeah. It might actually be an episode of Scooby-Doo.
They also appear to be taking their sweet old time crossing the train bridge.
Oh, wait, so they're walking across the train
Yeah.
bridge. Okay. Does that mean it wasn't always a train bridge? Ollie just gave me the biggest shrug I've ever seen, guys.
I don't know.
Like, that's your theory, right? The ghosts are in the area that they originally died in.
I mean, I wouldn't call it my theory per se. It was an idea. You know what? Actually, I'm going to own this. Yeah. So my theory was that ghosts had to have some sort of bounds around the area. Say they died that they would have some sort of geofence keeping them in some location that could be very much tied to whether or not they died inside of a house or they're outdoors or in different properties.
On a bridge.
On a bridge, and you might be able to have like crossover geofences or something like that. You know, some ghosts could say hello because they've got like,
Neighbours.
like a crossover boundary.
They're neighbour ghosts.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But then
They died next door.
maybe there's some ghosts that can only wave to each other because they're like, I can't get over, you know. So my theory in this particular case would be that there was an actual battleground there at some point, and they died, and they've hung around to walk the earth and slow down trains.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What if they died on a train and, like, you see all these ghosts, like, sitting down, hovering in the air, speeding along without the train?
Is that what we saw? Like,
No, that's what I'm hoping is happening.
oh right.
But it sounds like they're just slowly ambling their way across this bridge, getting in the way of trains, which might be how they died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While appearing to be completely residual in nature, there are two theories concerning the origin of this event.
Ooh.
Some believe the ghosts are residents of the area from that era who are simply going on their way.
Okay.
Others say the entities are actually actors who are used to perform a reenactment of the period for the park some years back.
Oh, like actors that died?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they got in the way of the train. Oh.
Did they know if there was
Because we think it's just a small train.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming it is because that's just a funnier image, but
I'd
everything's bigger in Texas, right? Oh, wait, this isn't Texas, is it? This is Georgia.
Yep.
I don't know.
I love the people who are like, oh, those aren't real Civil War era soldiers. Those are actors playing Civil War era soldiers.
Oh, you're right. They're denying the history of the area, right? Because if it's Georgia, that's still the South, right? So that's still the Confederate Army soldiers, presumably.
Sounds right.
It's like, oh, let's not celebrate these dead
I don't think they're that forward thinking.
Confederates. No?
I don't know. I think it's ambiguous, I think.
I do think you could be forgiven for thinking that it was Texas because that's where the Six Flags originated from, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you were to see a ghost of a mouse in Disney World, like an actual mouse, you wouldn't say, oh, that's an actor. You say, no, that's a dead mouse. But if you were to see a Mickey Mouse ghost, you would not say, oh, that's a real mouse ghost.
I feel like we're talking about two different things here. Surely you wouldn't think a mouse is a person because they're a tiny little mouse, but like a Confederate soldier could be either dressed up as a Confederate soldier or could actually be a Confederate soldier.
Yeah.
I'd love to see if there's someone could dress the quality of this, you know?
Yeah, like a historian getting in there and being like, those aren't the right buttons on those jackets. That's how we know it's a costume, not a real one.
I can see the tag poking out the back of their collar. It says made in China.
Either way, the spirits have their fair share of ghostly company there. Workers of the park claim a young girl also haunts the midway and is usually seen asking patrons for assistance.
No, guys, that's a lost girl. Help her. Wait, is that all we get about the girl?
Yes, but there is one more. There's also the spirit of an actor called Joe, who is thought to have perished in the Crystal Pistol Music Hall.
Was it pistol related?
No, he just slipped on a banana peel.
And that's all.
That's all?
But
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. These stories, sometimes you feel a little wanting, but the journey along the way...
Yeah. Confederate soldiers be damned. I want to know more about Joe. Okay, Amber, you've worked in theatres before. What could have befallen poor Joe in a theatre environment?
Many things. Crushed, slipped.
Crushed?
Yeah. Heavy sets, falling.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's probably one of the main things, is fly lines above your head. I don't know what kind of theatre it was, but... Oh, it's a music hall. So yeah, maybe. Cool. Many things.
I've definitely seen a lot of people die in theatres and movies and TV shows. Sandbags, mostly. What?
Are you thinking Looney Tunes?
I mean, that's a TV show.
But again, all fly lines, all stuff just coming down from above.
Okay, so less likely like a magician's trick's gone wrong with a real bullet in, what is it, the crystal pistol?
Yep.
Cool name.
Yeah, it makes up for Six Flags. I don't know about you guys, but I need to take just a short break.
Sure.
We can...
And we are back.
Excellent. We've decided that we're going to do at least one more story from this bridge book.
Yep.
Because Amber turned the page and her face lit up. What do you got there?
We are going to hide a bridge in Lulu, Georgia.
Where are we hiding it?
Where the sun can't... sorry.
I'm not letting you have a second take of that. I'm sorry, where was this?
Georgia.
Georgia again. Okay, lovely.
The story of blind Susie has been attached to this bridge for quite some time.
I think I can already tell how this ghost happened, guys.
Even though she most likely lived in a completely different area.
Oh, okay. Look, blind people can travel. They're not housebound.
Sorry, did someone say that? Did someone say that blind people are housebound?
Well, the books seem to say that, this probably isn't her because she lives somewhere else, right? Or am I just reading into that?
I think it's because, like what Ollie said earlier, normally geographically the ghosts stay central.
Yeah, where they died, not where they lived.
No, it's just definitely the theory, where they died. Yeah. It's a theory that I've seen from TV shows and movies and other stories. Like I've pieced this together myself. I've seen in a TV show where they've had people die like in plane crashes, but they'd like died before the plane crash, maybe like a heart attack or something, so like stuck in the air.
Ollie, is this ghosts again?
This is ghosts, yeah, like a ghost,
Okay.
like died like in the air. The person died in the end.
The show Ghosts.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay, all right. Every single thing you tell me from this show makes me want to watch it, and I think we might have to.
I love that resigned. Is this ghosts again? Like this conversation's happened before.
If you do watch Ghosts, you'll probably see a lot of my theories come from that show. It might be too revealing for you.
Okay.
Hyder Bridge, also known as the Lula Covered Bridge, was built in 1915 and now spans a tributary of Oak Grove Creek.
Sorry, did you say covered bridge? Lovely. All right, I'm already thinking Beetlejuice.
It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places and has a plaque that will give you more background information concerning the bridge.
So I'm not going to bother writing it into the book.
Yes.
Really? Oh, come on.
But the bridge is mostly known because of its association with the ghost of blind Susie. Susie was known far and wide during the days of Prohibition for selling a mean batch of moonshine.
Oh. Well, you know what happens when you drink too much moonshine, right?
You go blind?
Yeah.
Hence the nickname.
Okay, all right.
Blind
So this
Susie.
is entirely self-inflicted because she's been breaking the law.
I actually wondered whether or not that's actually like a thing. Like you actually go blind, or is it you just die?
Yeah, I believe it's the impurities in moonshine alcohol can do some serious damage to you.
I mean, she might not literally be blind. It might have been an affectionate nickname, Blind Susie,
Oh.
because she sells moonshine.
Okay, I like that. I like that theory.
She did the business right on her front porch.
Do you want to take that one, or shall I?
It was a moonshine business, right? Not a different type of business.
No, moonshine, yeah.
Well, that's
No,
a relief, like the other kind of business.
Not like risky business, which is I feel like where you're going with that.
Sure. Yep.
She would hide the jugs of liquor under her skirts as she sat in an old chair.
Yep.
Well, it is a risky business, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you were spot on, Ollie. Well done. Is this like that time that streamer sold her bathwater? Does the fact that it was hidden under her skirt increase the value to her customers or not?
sexy moonshine. Who knows?
Have you got any of the good stuff? Yes, just lift up my skirts. Or a policeman comes past. Nothing to see here, officer, just me and my skirts.
Oh, no, they'd never lift up a woman's skirt,
No.
would they? Ah, okay. But also, like, she couldn't get up.
No, get a warrant.
Yeah.
She would sell it to the locals who had the money to buy it. I mean, that's how business works.
Yes. Whether the business is legal or illegal, that's business.
Yep. When she passed away, folks began claiming to see the old woman on the bridge. Those who have seen the apparition say she stands on the span and simply ignores those who pass by. People also claim that even when she isn't visible, she is still there. Apparently, animals won't cross the old bridge.
How do they know she's there, though? Oh, can they, like, smell the booze?
She's always there, just watching.
Oh, she's just always there.
Well, even if you can't see her, I don't know.
Ugh.
Those who visit the historic site say they can hear the sounds of an old woman humming.
Humming? Oh, this is a covered bridge, isn't it? So it couldn't possibly just be wind blowing through, like, the wooden slats of the covered bridge.
That would sound like a hum, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a whistly hum, maybe.
And also, I don't blame any animal for not wanting to walk through a covered bridge. That's an abomination of nature.
I also like how they figure that out. I mean, I guess horses refusing to go through the bridge?
Does it say what animals?
No. No, please.
We've dragged you down to our level.
Oh, 1915, so there still probably would have been horses.
But there's still horses now.
But not used as a mode of...
Transport, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's not like a horse-drawn cart scenario, you know. Although, I think it's interesting that police still roam the streets in horses.
Panto horses.
Yeah, well, I've always wondered...
It's just two policemen in a costume.
He said in horses.
Well, no, I've always wondered whether or not they arrest people, like, from those horses. Like, is there actually, like, horse chasers? Like...
I don't think there's horse chasers, but they can and do arrest people sometimes. I think they're more of a deterrent, though, because, like, if you're stumbling down the street drunk looking for a fight on a Friday night, would you fuck with that horse?
I don't.
The answer's no. If you say anything but no, I'm worried.
It just wouldn't occur to me. Like, it's not like something like, I'm not scared of a horse, but I'm not, like, wanting to fuck with it either, because, like, why would you want to fuck with such a peaceful creature, right?
Okay. And that's why Ollie is not a criminal.
But I wouldn't necessarily be afraid of it, but I'd be more afraid if I was standing behind it, I'll tell you that much. Because they got a hell of a kick.
So do the police tasers.
Yeah.
So it's just, you don't mess with a horse. Or a cop on a horse. Or a cop in a horse.
I was going to say, like, if I had a choice between a horse or a policeman by themselves, I would choose the horse. Like, I'm more afraid of a police person in general. If a police person wants to, you know, really screw me up and a horse wants to screw me up, I think I'm going to have a better chance with the horse.
Right. Like, you can't have a corrupt horse.
Or,
5 sugar cubes. You saw nothing.
If the horse had a gun, I would be afraid. I'd be curious as to how it's holding it and afraid.
I think a horse with a gun is just a llama. No?
Yeah,
None of you guys have been spat on by
spitting.
a llama before?
Right, okay, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I've definitely not been spat on by a llama. I heard they spit, though.
They do. It's nasty. Or a camel. It's a camel. Oh, guys.
All right,
Well,
that's Aladdin, isn't it? Like, be careful, they spit.
Yes, that is.
Thank you.
Shall we move on from haunted bridges to haunted hotels?
Yeah, I think we've covered bridges enough, haven't we?
And covered bridges. Ha 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 ha.
Let's check out some hotels.
Check into hotels, surely.
That was the joke.
Have you guys ever thought about wanting to stay in a haunted hotel?
We're going to.
Yeah, later this year we are going to York and staying in the Black Swan Inn, which is a haunted inn in York. And if we're very, very lucky, I can maybe record something.
Is it going to be the noises that come through the walls?
Well, we're staying there over the weekend, so the noises that come through the walls might just be rowdy bar patrons and music. But
Yeah.
from memory, I think it's haunted by a set of legs on the stairs.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of hauntings.
I stayed at a really old hotel once myself, not known to be haunted, nor did I have any hauntings about it. It was more the experience of some very interesting smells and wafting through the air.
Yeah, that sounds like an old hotel.
Yeah, it was kind of like a moist sort of stale smell. Like
okay, it's just black mold, is it?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the other thing was like being like woken up in the morning, like 5 o'clock or something, with like the barrels of beer they threw down, metallic bouldering noise, which is always fun. It was cheap though.
3 stars. It was cheap though.
I should hope so. Yeah. All right, Amber, what do you got? Do you need a second to get that set up there?
No, it's all good. We're going to Arizona, the Copper Queen Hotel.
Is Arizona known for its copper?
There's a copper mine nearby. That's why it's called the Copper Queen Motel.
There you go.
There are believed to be 3 resident ghosts at the Copper Queen. One who seems to spend most of her time on the 3rd floor, but strange happenings are a regular occurrence throughout the beautiful old building. So much so, in fact, that the staff keep a huge ledger on the reception desk where both employees and guests are asked to record any odd happenings.
We've been through this before, haven't we, Ollie? There's that prison in Tasmania that asked every guest on exit, did you experience a haunting while you were here? And, of course it gets filled out. Because if someone asks you to write down at the end on a survey, you're going to put something in there.
It's going to be yes. Yes, I did.
Yeah, who's going to say no?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm the type of person that would put yes, even if it didn't actually happen to me. If on an anonymous survey.
I think you'll find most people are.
I was watching The Mask last night with George and my wife, and we were...
I was expecting you to say Jim Carrey then.
Well, I mean...
Don't know why that threw me for a loop.
Jim popped over to watch one of his own movies with Ollie.
You know what? This is Jim Carrey. I would believe that.
If only, right? Like, what a joy that would be. There was a scene in the movie where he has a valet that pulls up with an old car, and he was talking to another character in the movie at the time, and she says to him, "Oh, is that your car?" And he says, like, "That car? That's not my car." And then he, like, turns around to the valet and is like, "Why are you bringing me the wrong car?" And I remember turning around to Georgia at the time and saying, there is absolutely no way I could pull that off in real life. I could never just blatantly lie about something to someone to their face, especially if it's perfectly obvious that I'm lying. But if it was on a blank survey where no one is going to see that I did it, yes. Yeah. Blood dripped from the walls.
Ghost stole a tenner. Can I have it back? Sorry, have we totally moved on from the first ghost, or we got more?
That wasn't the first ghost. That was just general.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah. Weird things have happened to people who work here, former general manager Peter Peach once said. One night porter, for example, watched in amazement as the main doors in the entrance hall swung open and a light appeared to emerge from one of the big mirrors in the lobby, move around, then float up the grand staircase and disappear.
Well, that's a lot.
It is.
I feel like a mirror floating in a room is pretty blatantly ghostly.
I don't think the mirror floated. I think a light came out of the stationary mirror and floated upstairs.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Meanwhile, the front doors also happened to open, and I don't know why. Is that right?
Yes, the front doors opened, then the lights came out of the mirrors.
Alrighty.
Also, this was not what he saw. He says a night porter saw this.
Oh, okay. It's never first. That is why this True Irish Ghost Stories is so good, because it is first-hand accounts. Everything else is balderdash.
Wait. So you're telling me that those first-hand accounts are honest to God truth? Is that...
No.
All I'm going to say is that it sounds like a great acid trip. I saw some lights. They came out of the... It was a mirror. So we had some lights came up the mirror. They went up the staircase.
I think we can agree that this particular event would never happen to the day porter.
Well, yes, and it's amazing you say that because another night porter experienced strange nocturnal phenomena.
Not the same one, we swear.
Another one. She theorized whatever or whoever it is likes young guys.
She may be projecting.
That would seem to be born out of the experience of a good-looking chief engineer at the hotel who stepped into the empty elevator and was alarmed to find an invisible presence breathing heavily behind him. No, this
I think this night porter's just being a bit creepy to the young men around the place. He's trying to cover things up.
But there's no one there. It's a heavy breath.
Porters are invisible, Amber.
I mean, it was a her in that story. So
and she's pervert on the handsome young man. This tracks.
I mean, as I said, projecting.
Yeah.
She clearly said handsome. She wasn't like the unattractive. She commented on the attractiveness of the person. Yeah.
You're right. You would expect the word handsome from like 1900s Ireland, not from what, like 1990s America? Yeah.
He was a good-looking chief engineer.
Oh, good-looking. Okay.
So my crackpot theory that she is supernatural herself. She astral projected her consciousness into the elevator with the handsome young engineer and then was breathy behind him.
I hate that makes more sense than ghost.
You ready for more?
I don't know if I am ever ready for more, but please read on.
Or there was the easy on the eyes bodyguard.
Oh, God damn it.
Looking after a movie star staying at the Copper Queen, who left his room in terror and refused to return after repeatedly hearing a husky voice murmuring, "Hello," in his ear.
This night porter needs to be fired. Okay, so this poor entertainment industry adjacent employee is being harassed by probably the night porter, maybe the starlet. Is it starlet? Was that?
Movie star.
Movie star. Oh, and we don't know if that's male or female.
No.
And we don't know if the voice was male or female.
No.
But we do know that the person who described the
It was
man
a husky voice murmuring, "Hello."
Hello. Oh, sorry, husky.
Was that your bedroom
Muppet
voice as well, or?
I'll throw this one over to Amber. She can answer however she sees fit.
Do we continue?
Please do.
The most haunted rooms are thought to be room 305 and 315, although two women guests...
Lady guests.
Yeah, two women guests who stayed at room 312 reported that a hat belonging to neither of them kept flying around the room.
They have seen frisbees before, right? Hang on. A hat belonging to neither of them kept floating around the room.
Flying.
Flying. Floating flying?
This was a occurrence reported elsewhere in the hotel also.
Same hat? Who could know?
Who could know? So I think this is the second ghost. So I think the first ghost was hitting on young men. And then the second ghost is flying hat ghost.
Flying hats. Okay.
So, I think I've mentioned to you before, I've got a couple of little kind of ghost stories that I've experienced. But one experience that I remember having, but I'm not even sure if I remember having it correctly. Like, it was so long ago.
I think you'll find that's very similar to everyone in these books. But please continue.
But there was like one experience where I have like this vivid memory of like seeing my cat at the time. Must have been, I don't know, like 14, 15 or something like
flying across the room.
Flying across the room.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
and
my God.
It's funny because it's like a memory that I think that I have, but I think to myself, I could have been wrong somehow. Couldn't I? Like how, like I remember seeing, or could the cat have done it itself? Honestly, I barely ever brought it up in my life until right now because it's just seemed like a good opportunity to talk about it. But I have this memory of being in an apartment and seeing my cat like fly across the room unaided by anybody else. So
yeah, I mean, look, cats, they're famously the only animal more earthbound than a tortoise.
Okay.
Cats can jump.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no, they can. But I just remember the speed and the distance and the velocity of the flying in this particular instance felt very unusual and just unnatural, I think, is the memory that I have. But one day I'll tell you the ghost story that's way more fun.
Okay, yeah, we're saving that one then.
Okay, we're saving
more
that
fun than a flying cat.
Oh, it involves rituals.
That's it.
Don't say anything.
That's the episode. That's the episode title. I was like, why is a hat flying? I don't know.
We don't know who this lady is, Pete once said, but we do know she likes men. Perhaps someone who was once murdered on the 3rd floor In a mining town like this, lots of things have happened since 1902. Give it up for Peter with the best explanation ever as to what this is.
Oh, look, he made an attempt at the very least. Most landlords don't.
Other slightly less inexplicable oddities include alarm clocks with minds of their own and odd buzzing noises.
Look, I've had alarm clocks with minds of their own. I don't think it's unusual.
I also, I have enough trouble setting the time on my own alarm clock, let alone if I'm, say, in another city, maybe been out on the town, returning to the hotel room. There's like a 50-50 chance I'm setting that thing wrong. Does it explain, though, how they're wrong?
No.
That's all we get of the clocks?
Yep.
Oh, if they were going
their own.
If they were going backwards or something, then all right, fair, you've got a case. But if it's just, whoops, I set the alarm an hour early. No, get out of here.
Wasn't me, it was the ghost.
That's why I missed the 10 a.m. checkout time. It was the ghosts. It made me oversleep.
More recently, the Copper Queen has been the subject of paranormal investigation shows such as Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventurers, not affiliated with this podcast.
Yet.
No. But, Zach, if you want to come on this show, we will have you.
Zach?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the main guy of one of those ghost shows is called
right.
Zach something.
Well, somebody's a fan.
Zach.
Callum waits till I go to bed and then binges it.
Zach. It's not Zach Brannigan.
No.
I know that much.
That's from Futurama.
It's not Zach Braff, but I think it's Zach B something. Editor's note, I can't believe I forgot the name Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures. Sorry about that, Zach. And if you are listening, get in touch. Email's in the description.
Both shows believe the ghost is a young woman named Julia Lowell. Lowell was a prostitute who fell in unrequited love with a client and then took her own life upon his rejection.
Oh.
That's why the clocks are wrong. She charges by the hour and sets them forward a bit.
Oh. Oh, God.
Oh, sorry.
I swear to God, if our podcast ever actually gets popular, it'll get cancelled pretty quickly.
What? She's dead.
Can't libel the dead.
That's fair. That makes sense too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so that was quite a tragedy, though. Unrequited love from a prostitute, and she killed herself?
Yeah, she was a prostitute. She killed herself because he didn't love her back.
Oh, that's not the normal way around that that particular relationship goes.
I think it would explain the occurrences, you know, that she was attracted to the young men that were going through her hotel room and breathing heavily behind her. But I would argue that she would go further. There'd be one of those Ghostbuster scenes in the...
No, you're not the Dan Aykroyd.
Yes.
In the
yes,
bed.
Indeed. A tawdry ghost affair.
The haunted pants scene.
Yeah, that pants, yes. Yeah. I'm thinking more like she walks into his hotel room one day, finds another woman's hat on the hat stand, tosses it around the room. That's why she's so mad at hats.
I bet you there has been a lot of stories where she has been harassing the male clientele, but they don't want to come forward about it.
Oh,
am I going to get cancelled?
It's starting to get a bit.
Should we hear a bit more about her?
Well, it depends. Is it going to encourage us or what?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
The belief is that the ghost prefers flirting with members of the opposite sex.
I think we figured that out.
Dancing provocatively and even whispering in their ears or tickling their feet.
Okay, phew.
For the record, I was saying didn't want to come forward because they were enjoying it.
Okay.
Just want to clarify.
And also for the record, I thought she was going to say tickling their balls, but okay, whatever.
Should have paused there, tickling their feet.
Dancing provocatively, though, that has to be an interesting thing. You have to see her, right?
I'm not sure if that is what they think, that she's wearing the hats and her dancing around the room is the hats.
Oh.
It's the only connection I could make as to why they think she's dancing.
Huh.
Because you can't
the hat's
see
the only
her.
thing she's wearing.
There's no recollection of, there's no evidence of everyone ever seeing her. So.
Okay. And it goes The hat goes like sideways, it starts spinning around.
Centralized for some reason on one location.
That was fun.
It's not.
She hasn't said the end yet.
Okay.
Julia Lowell may be the only ghost to have an eponymous room.
What's an eponymous room?
Named after her.
Ah, right. Cool.
But a gentleman who descends the staircase with a top hat and cape in a fog of cigar smoke also makes an appearance.
I thought we were almost done with this place, but okay.
Anyone open for making a screenplay about this? Or
Do you think... All right, Amber probably knows because she's redhead, but do you think this is the gentleman that she was enamored with?
No. I'm going to say pimp.
Oh, shit.
Top hat?
I mean, top hat, cigar.
And cape?
She likes the young, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Miner. That works in a mine.
No. I was thinking of...
Beau?
That's the word I was looking for, yes. I think she enjoys a young beau. I think that an older gentleman in a top hat with a cigar, conjures up a different image to me. So I'm thinking more like...
Money.
Yeah, money and also maybe the caretaker of the establishment.
Okay.
Pimp.
Yeah.
Most chillingly, the most haunting figure is the third ghost.
Oh, hey, are we moving on from Mr. Top Hat
Yes,
already?
we are.
All right, go on.
A little boy who drowned in the nearby San Pedro River. While never seen, his giggle can be heard along with his light footsteps in the hallway.
Oh, that's creepy. I'm not gonna lie. I much prefer about a prostitute and a pimp over a small child. Yeah.
Now that's the end of the story. They just throw those last two in the final sentence.
I wish it had ended on Mr. Pimp. Okay.
I'll be honest. I think that's that general kind of sadness and distraughtness that I think you get from like a young child dying. Just doesn't really sit well in the brain. There's something about the story of a prostitute killing themselves over a
Scorned love.
love that, it's like it's not great, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, okay, these things happen.
This
and
one also was nowhere near. It was in a nearby river. They've just brought this child into the narrative themselves.
in the geofence.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some more work here for Rich Newman. All right.
No, this isn't Rich Newman.
Oh, no. Who was this one? Who
This
was
is Robin Mead.
Robin Mead did the haunted hotels. Okay. Let's connect them all, right? So this young child perhaps was the offspring of the prostitute and her beau, and that's why she's constantly hounding him. Not because she's in love, because he won't pay his fucking child support.
Wow.
Oh, I was thinking child escaped from the copper mine and the mining magnates.
Children, they yearn for the mines. Get them back in there.
I'm thinking we need to get this screenplay off the ground, guys. Like, come on, let's bring our combined minds together. We can get this in cinemas next year.
We could get it in now, but could we live with ourselves? Would we begin to be haunted by the ghosts of the unfortunate... I can't even finish that. Fuck them.
One can only hope.
Oh, you want to be haunted?
I do.
Oh, you want to get into first-hand haunting, do you?
There's
Offshoot podcast always got brewing.
Well, at the moment, it'd just be the one story. It'd be a very short podcast.
If we insult enough ghosts, do you think they'll turn their attention to us?
Again, one could only hope.
Okay, all right.
That'll be the first-hand haunting. And you know what? No one will ever believe us.
No. We wouldn't believe us. I know we wouldn't. Well, you might. Amber, do you believe any of this guff?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm on the skeptic side of the fence.
That's fine.
Obviously, I'm all about the
all about that ghost.
I'd be more...
No. I don't know where I was going with that.
Probably best that I cut you off. I'd be more willing to accept some sort of metaphysical explanation for
the astral projection, or
no, for like just echoes of other universes. I would, not that I'm saying I do believe in that, I would be more willing to go down that line of thinking.
Ooh, more of a sci-fi route, yeah.
Yeah, and that there's just mirrors, all universes all stacked up on each other, and sometimes you see something from another one that just
So, it's fascinating. I think that it's certainly not the goal of this podcast to talk about, but I've always found that really fascinating that physicists have theorized the multi-universe theorem, whatever. But like the idea that they basically said that the math suggests the idea of the multi-universe theory. And I'm like, well, like, what's that math? And it's like
that's my question.
Yeah, it was like, so that's obviously maybe another podcast for another time.
We should probably have another podcast. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, that sounds suspiciously like a podcast that Amber kinda actually does. Amber, thank you very much for coming in and reading us some stories. It's been an absolute blast being on the receiving end of this nonsense for once.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Since we are talking about some sci-fi multiverse stuff, do you want to give your podcast on the P-Zinner Network a little plug?
Yes, I record Please Attend Carefully with Kieran Moffat. We talk about Doctor Who, in particular The Master, and we go through all the different adventures. We're trying to consume every piece of media that The Master has ever been in.
That's a big catalogue, isn't it?
It's just every... Well, how many episodes of the show is that?
Big Finish audios myself. Not that I'm marketing for them right now. But
I think we could say that it's all good stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting buying things off Big Finish because, they use a lot of the actors from Doctor Who.
They do.
And, well, primarily, I think, actually.
The show is canon to Big Finish.
Yeah.
The other way around is debatable.
Yeah. I don't think many people know about Big Finish when you find it and you realize how much content there is that can extend past your Doctor Who experience.
Yeah, when you realise that Paul McGann is actually the Doctor Who has produced the most content hands down than anyone, not just the single movie.
Yeah. And hey, would you like to see a bunch of masters all talking to each other? You can get that too.
Yeah.
But we should probably have the rest of this particular conversation off mic. If you want to listen to more, check out Please Attend Carefully on the P-Zinner Network.
Yes, thank you for having me on, and you won't have to be subjected to any more haunted bridges. You can go back to Ireland and Scotland.
I personally loved it. Love both books. I really loved the stories. It brought up some really interesting ideas, and I thought the Six Flags one with the Confederate soldiers was, again, like, it had such Scooby-Doo vibes. I loved that. Personally loved the last story as well, with the suicidal prostitute.
Look forward to a whole bunch more of that, kin. And I'm just going to do a little bit of teasing. We're probably going to get some more guests from around the P-Zinner Network on the show. And also some Scottish ghost stories coming up in future episodes of
Secondhand Haunting.